comic book fans. I'm Jason. This is the Dude Cave. It is the 5th of February 2017, and you are watching Comic All Weekly, my weekly video where I share with you the brand new comics I picked up this past week. So today I've got 16 books that I picked up to share with you. I always say 16 books, 16 or under is my sweet spot. I'm trying to get my pull list to a point where I can get almost every week 16 or under, because like I find it really easy to get through 16 in a week. Anything over that, it begins to get a bit challenging. So first things first, we're going to kick things off with the pull list update. There's one book I'm adding to my pull list, none I'm taking off this week, and the one I'm adding is Wildstorm, which I will talk more about in a bit. So first things first, let's dive into books. The books are divided into two piles for me this week. The books that I'm behind on, so I won't get to them straight away, and the books that I've already read. So let's dive into these. So first up, we have Deadpool and the Mercs for Muddy, issue number 8. I'm currently, my big mission this month, the two priorities to catch up on are Star Wars and Deadpool. All my Deadpool books are going to have a crossover in March. All the Deadpool ongoing Deadpool books. So that's like Deadpool, this one, Deadpool and Mercs for Money, Deadpool and Spider-Man Deadpool. They're all going to have a big crossover to do with Deadpool and his wife having some kind of big falling out. So I want to catch up with all the books so that I'm ready for March. Also, I want to catch up with Star Wars because I love Star Wars. So this hopefully I won't be too long till I've read that one. And then we have Star Wars issue 28, which this was only out last week, so I don't know what's going on with the scheduling. But yeah, I really want to get up to date. There's this. Poe Dameron I'm behind on. I've still got to finish off the Han Solo miniseries. I think that's all the Star Wars books I've got to read. So yeah, so I've got a few to get to there, which I'm looking forward to catching up with them because I do love my Star Wars. We then have Aquaman issue 16. I'm still behind. I'm up to issue 8 or 9 now, so I'm catching up, but I'm still behind. But I'm really enjoying Aquaman, so looking forward to catching up with that. We've got Batman issue 16, another book for me to catch up on. Midnight on the Apollo issue number 5. We have Paper Girls issue number 11. Another book that was out last week and is out again this week is Deadpool issue 26. We have Old Man Logan, issue number 17. Another book I'm like, because I love the creative team of Lemire Sorrentino and Miyamo, so I really want to catch up with that. We have Faith, issue number 8. And we have The Adventures of Archer and Armstrong, A+A, issue 12. So there's quite a few good books there that I want to catch up on. So the rest of the books now are the books that I've read. First up, we have issue 16 of Green Arrow from the creative team of Ben Percy. And even though the cover says the art is for Raya, the art inside the cover actually, it tells you it's Otto Smith who does the art and the colour in this issue. This was just another really good issue of Green Arrow. I'm really liking where we've got Green Arrow right now. You've got the Link to the Past by putting him back together with Black Canary, so I'm loving that. But then you've kind of got the present day stuff from the TV show by having Diggle in there, and plus the comics own stuff with Emiko. So I'm really liking how it's blending all these different things together. I'm loving the tone they've got the book and the character that Green Arrow is. I sometimes would like him to be the hero more. It feels sometimes to me that he's kind of been rescued by other people, or that he seems to be bundling along. I like him to be the guy who's solving stuff. But in saying that, I still, and I say this every time I review the book, or talk about the book, I can't believe it's the same writer. Ben Percy's just doing such a great job writing it. The art this issue looks really nice as well. Just as things are looking brighter for Green Arrow, it ends with him being back in trouble. But yeah, I'm in love. I'm loving this. And at the back, we have this thing called Storm Warning, and it's an interview with Warren Ellis, who's going to be writing the Wildstorm. So yeah, we have an interview with him, and we get a look at some of the characters as well. And it really makes it sound intriguing. I was already going to try the Wildstorm out, But reading what actually is going to be going on in it, I'm like, yes, I'm going to be all over that, like fleas on a cheap suit. So yeah, um, we got that. Then we have Darth Maul issue number 1. Um, First, get my complaint out the way. It's a $4.99 book, and in the back we've got like this other book, this other story in the back, which I'm kind of like, I if I'm paying $4.99 for a book, I'd rather it be that they give Darth Maul and the main story more space to tell a bigger story. I don't want to be paying $4.99 for a book when you've got a backup that has nothing to do with the main character. Well, it does have something to do with the main character, but it's just a little funny story, and I'm like, I read it, and I was like, at the end, I was like, okay. But the main story I enjoyed. I liked the art to it; that was really good. I also really like Cullen Bunn as a writer. Just has this real knack with villains and making them interesting, and he does a great job with Maul here. You've got those consistencies with, like we see in the Phantom Menace when he's battling Qui-Gon Jinn, and how impatient he is to get back into the battle when the Force shield comes down, and Qui-Gon's just there on his knees meditating while Darth Maul is pacing up and down, and you get that same impatience, that same anger here. I reading the synopsis, I kind of was under the impression that this was going to show his early days and how he was chosen to be the apprentice of Darth Sidious. And while I was disappointed we didn't get that, what we get is an enjoyable story, and I'm definitely intrigued and excited to see where it's going to go. We then have Baltimore, the Red Kingdom, issue number 1. This is also a 5-issue miniseries from Dark Horse Comics, and it it deals with this character called the Red King, and he got his army, and there's all these wicked people that have gone over to his side that enjoy the evil. You've then got vampires and monsters and witches, and the humans are trying to fight back, but his armies are growing stronger, and he looks like he's going to win. Like, we can hold out for so long, but eventually the Red King is going to win. And there's this one character, Baltimore, who everybody kind of feels is the one guy who could help them, but nobody's seen him in years. And kind of the whole issue builds to the character coming back. I liked how the story built. The art really felt good and fitted the story. I felt it, as of somebody who'd never doesn't really have that much experience with Baltimore. What I really liked about this was how it really introduces you to all what's happened so far, introduces you to this world. I like the fact that it's set in the time that it's set in, because that gives the book a different kind of feel. All in all, I just really enjoyed this, and I thought it was a really great first issue because it just really sets up the story, but things are moving as well. So it's not like, oh, here's a big info dump of what's happened. The way they do it is really good and organic, and I really enjoyed this. Look forward to seeing where it goes. We then have the Fall and Rise of Captain Atom, issue number 2. This also was really good, really surprised me. Last issue, Captain Atom blew up, seemingly killed, because he could no longer control the energies within him. He's ended up being blown into the past, to 1996, and he's just a regular human being now. Though he's at the peak human being, at peak fitness, he is just a human being. He has no superpowers, and so it's kind of, and through his inner monologue, it kind of tells the story of how he builds a life for himself here in '96, a world before superheroes come into the world, and it's a really interesting issue. Like, talking about the things that they didn't have in '96, which made me feel old, because I remember '96. '96 was a good time. I was young. I had so much life in front of me. There seemed to be so many paths for me to go down. Um, it's kind of that strange thing in life. When you're young, you have all the choices, but none of the knowledge. And when you get older, you have all of the knowledge, but no longer do you have all the choices. Um, Bit philosophical for me there. Getting back into the book though. So I really liked the setting being '96, and it was really interesting pointing out all the things that we didn't have back then that are such a big part of our lives now. Like mobile phones or the internet, but the internet wasn't as what it is now. So all these things he pointed out, And then he meets this, he goes to see this scientist telling him that he's writing a book, a story about a time traveler, and he wants to know the science to time travel and to like the effect of like messing with time, and if you're transported to the past, kind of affecting things. So that was really interesting, and he ends up falling in love, and kind of the story's going to end tragically, and it does. But this was just a really enjoyable issue. Also, the art is done by an artist. Let me see if I can find the dude's name. Will Conrad does the art, and it's really, really good. Um, you can never find a double page spread when you want one. Um, so yeah, really good. This was a real surprise. While I enjoyed the first issue, this was a real surprise to me. What they came out with here. So a big thumbs up to them, and look forward to getting the rest of that series. We then have Superman, issue number 16, the final part of Multiplicity. Um, Again, with DC, I love the fact that they have the title on the top of the page. I think that's a really great thing that they've come up with there. The story, we have this character called Prophecy who's going through the multiverse, taking Superman, draining them of their power. So our Superman manages to track him down with the Justice League Incarnate close behind to kind of helpfully defeat Prophecy. We learn Prophecy's doing this not because he wants all this power, but because he needs the power to defend his world, his universe, and he'll do whatever it takes to protect his universe from this impending doom. And we never get to find out what this impending doom is. We get this nice little bit at the end, which I don't think is too spoilery, of Prophecy's been captured, and this hooded figure is talking to him, but we don't know who it is. So I'm really intrigued by that, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, this was another good issue. I love anything multiverse, seeing alternate versions of heroes. I love that kind of thing. So this for me just really worked. Really enjoyed it. All New X-Men issue number 18 was another Inhumans vs X-Men tie-in. Really enjoyed this. This was a story told from Cyclops' perspective, which was really good. Like the previous ones, it does a great job of fleshing out a character and how they feel about this conflict. My gripe is that this is set after issue 4 of Inhumans vs X-Men. That doesn't come out till next week. So it did slightly spoil kind of stuff that happens in that issue, which did pee me off a bit. But overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't feel it was the strongest, but it was the first one of the tie-ins that feels like it is an essential read, because there's a big thing that happens in here that should have big repercussions in the Inhumans vs X-Men book. So yeah, another good tie-in they're doing there. And finally, we have Avengers issue number 4, and this is told totally from the angle of Kang. I was going to say Kane. It's Kang, isn't it? So Kang is like he's in he's placed at the edge of time, and he's kind of like through this inner monologue, he tells the story of his rise to fame and to power. The art throughout this book is just tremendous from Del Mundo. What Mark Waid is really good at, he doesn't only write good stories, but he's able to work with his artists. And it seems he's a writer who allows them a lot of leeway and a lot of, I could just go through this book as an art book and just look at this. It's brilliant. Telling the story of Kang, some of these art is just outstanding. Telling the story of Kang and how he became to be Kang the Conqueror. And because last issue Captain America had a plan of how to defeat Kang once and for all, and we get this whole history of Kang here, which is brilliant. And then at the end, the Avengers show up and the plan is revealed, and I just love this. It was brilliant. Kang's one of my favourite villains anyway, and this look at Kang was just brilliant. but the art that goes with it is just superb. Great stuff. Great stuff. So those are all my books. Another book I just want to share. I picked this up about a month ago. It is Transformers, the Definitive G1 Collection. This is a new series that comes out every fortnight here in the UK. And what it's doing is collecting all the Transformers comics into kind of one kind of collection that you can read in chronological order. What is especially for me, because they've collected Transformers in graphic novels before, but back in the 80s when it was originally run here in the UK, while the American version of the comic would come out every month, the UK version of the comic would come out. At first, it was um, and after that, it went from fortnightly to being a weekly. So they would quite often run out of story from America because the American one was, and even though they'd split it in half, so like one issue would last 2 weeks, it still meant that it wasn't lasting as long. It still meant that they ran out of material, so they had to create their own stories that would happen in between the bigger stories that the American one was telling. So we'd get all these classic great British stories. And though they've collected them before in graphic novels, they've never been collected together and in chronological order with the American stories. And that's what this one does. So this first one collects a story from the British version of the comic called Target 2006, which is set just after the movie. As you would expect, this is made by Hachette Partworks, who also do the Marvel Ultimate Graphic Novel Collection. So, you know, it's really well done with an introduction and a story so far. And then we get into the main story. I love the British art, you know, because the British art was so different. There's the British one. And then at the back, we've got 2 issues of the American one. As you can see how different the art was at the time. So I love that. What is also really good is when we get to the American one, we get like another bit here that tells you the story so far as well for the American story. We also get these nice little pages, if I can find them, like this, of these little things that they used to put in the British comic. So really good stuff. At the back as well, you've got bonus material at the back, as you've got like a cover gallery for the UK one, the UK version of the comic. We have Transformers the movie, an article on that. As well as like, I think this is from the comic, with Grimlock doing a movie review for the Transformers the movie, and you have like a nice article about Meanwhile in the offices of Marvel UK. All in all, this is really good. It's volume 6. They've released them out of order. Because I think it's because if say the original run, it takes up the first 20 issues, somebody might just want them and that might just buy the first 20. Where if they mix them up, it's more likely people will buy all of them because they'll be mixed up. So it'll take you longer to maybe get the 20 you want. I think that's their theory anyway. But this is volume 6. It was $1.99. It was just a bargain. I've started reading this. I may upload a series of reviews for these. I don't know. I was doing that for my Marvel Ultimate graphic novels, which I really enjoy those. But with me being behind on my books, it's been difficult to catch up with them. With this, I think because the third issue's come out, so I've got to get that tomorrow. Once I've got the third issue, I'll have the first 3, and if I can breeze through them in the next 3 weeks and then read them as I get them, I might start doing reviews for these. We'll see. Because I do miss doing a review video, but it's difficult to do a review video when you've not read all of the books. And I get to express my views on the main books I'm buying here. So I don't know. I'll decide. Either I'll just talk about them in these videos, or I might do a separate review. We'll see. Anyway, that's enough from me. I don't want to go waffling on any longer. Thank you very much for watching my video. I'm going to shut this show down now. So all it leaves me to say is once again, a big thank you for watching. I've been Jason, and this has been coming to you from the Dude Cave. on the 5th of February 2017. You've been watching Comical Weekly. Keep reading, and bye for now.